For this project, you are going to be working with lists, and actually there are 3 separate little mini projects that you're supposed to do here. You're supposed to create 3 blocks. So when I'm working with lists, usually I make myself a little script like this, which deletes everything in the list and then adds a bunch of items to the list. So if I run this guy, you can see it creates this list, which I have right here. The name of the list is called players in some game, and so forth. And notice I intentionally have some duplicates here in here. Joe is here twice, some names are here once, Mary is here 3 times. So the first block that you need to write is supposed to report the longest name in the list. In this case, the list is players, but it should work on any list. So the longest name in players, so I run this, the longest name in players is William, right? It's got the most letters in it. This is a little tricky. Inside this block, you need to be looping. You need to probably use a for loop to loop through this entire list, look at every item in the list, and it should go up to the length of the list, right? Length of, so that's this red length of players in this case, length of list. You should be looking for the longest word in the list. Now, the green length of will tell you the length of a word, not to be confused with the red length of, which is used to determine the length of a list. You're going to be using both of these, but try not to get them confused. I know it's a little confusing. So this is you're going to use to find the longest word in the list. So you're going to go through the list, looking for the longest word. So obviously you're going to need a variable to keep track of the longest word so far, and if you find a new longer word, then you're going to set longest word to that new longer word, and at the end you're going to report back that longest word. Notice if I run this, the guy doesn't say the longest name, the sprite doesn't, it just reports it back. All right, so here's the next one. The next block that you have to write is supposed to remove a name from a list. Now, the first one I created, I'm calling remove whatever name, in this case Mary, from the list. This is the bad version. And if I run this, notice I have Mary 3 times. If I run this bad version, it only deleted 2 of the Marys. Well, you need to make your code delete every name that needs to be removed. You need to delete all of them. So make sure yours works correctly. And the other thing you notice, I'll run this again, when it gets to the end, you see this thing is kind of flashes red there for a moment. That means I've gone past the end of the list. That is a no-no. You never want your code to do that. There's a little error going on there. So below it, I have the correct version, remove Mary from players. And there you go. It removes every Mary that's in the every copy of Mary that's in the list players. And it doesn't flash red at the end. I give you a little hint in the project about how you might want to think about removing multiple things, and I don't really want to, you can read the project, I don't want to tell you how to do it, but make sure yours deletes correctly. And then the last block, again you're writing 3 blocks, report longest name, remove a name, and the last one you're supposed to report back all of the names in the list punctuated properly. So if I run this guy, it reports back, hello, Joe, Larry, Bobby, William, and Bobby. Notice it says hello to everybody and it's punctuated correctly. Everybody has a comma after it, and the last guy says and the last name. And actually, if I refresh my list and run it again, you can see it reports back all of the names, again, punctuated correctly. And the last name, it says and before the last name. So you need to get these 3 blocks working perfectly. And of course, they're all going to involve using for loops to read through the list and process it in some way. But I don't want to give you too much of a hint. I think you can figure it out from here. So go for it and good luck.